Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. We are out here on the river, a nice cool brisk morning, supposed to warm up nice. I only got a couple hours, just dropped the kids off at school, boat in tow, and we came out to try out this guy right here. This is a new spinnerbait from Picasso. It's called the Titanium Pro Spinnerbait. I want to point out a couple of things that I really like about this, and the first and most obvious, titanium wire. So just like the old Terminator spinnerbaits that had the titanium wire, this thing is pretty much, indestructible. You can bend it, it snaps back as to the position that you like it. These are not even available yet. You can go to Tackle Warehouse and pre-order them right now, but the ones that I have aren't even in the official packaging. They just sent me some to test and to try out to see if I could break them. So I'm excited to use them. I'll point out a couple other cool features with them, but we're gonna tie one up, take it out, see if we can abuse it with a couple of nice bass. So why don't you come along with me and see what we can catch. Little guy. Little guy. There's one. Another little guy. Catching them. That's a nice one. Chunky fish. Come on. Oh, that's a heavy fish. Look at that chunk. I like it. Really healthy fish. This time of year, you get a lot of fish up in my neck of the woods that start feeding on different shiners, and it's pretty similar to down south where you guys start having your shad migrations. We got water temps that are in the 60s now, cooled off from the 70s, and a spinnerbait is one of the absolute best baits for this type of fishing. I mean, the bass are just so keyed in on shad. A lot of them are looking up too. Like that fish was out in the tip of this tree right here, and we got to make a few more casts in there because that was the first cast. But generally I feel like in the summer they're tighter to the bank, tighter where those current breaks are. Now right now we don't have much current. It's pretty stagnant. The water's at a good level, but it's just pretty stagnant. And what'll happen a lot of times is those fish will come out and sit out here in the tip, which is in 8 foot of water, and I brought it up over a limb and that fish just clobbered it. But it's pretty typical early fall fishing. We've been getting some really cool nights around here. And a spinnerbait is just one of those baits that, like, for me, it was one of the first baits I ever threw as a kid. I just still love fishing it, and there's a lot of good fish to be caught on a spinnerbait. There's one. Not a giant. Man, they're healthy right now. Look how healthy. So, I mean, that fish is just exploding. Got him really good. We're on a bank right now that's got some steeper drops to it, if you can see right here. I'm not using the forward facing to see the fish. I'm using it to really see the bait and to see the depth chains that I'm fishing. But these fish are coming off a little bit, off kind of on that ledge where that bait is, and you can tell based on how fat they are that they're already feeding up. Ooh, that was another one. And a lot of times, you know, the cover that you want to be fishing is the cover that's out in the fall. You know, in the spring they'll be right up on the bank. On the fall they'll actually be on that first lip, and that's because they're sitting on that lip waiting to ambush the bait. Just like the last couple have definitely been off the bank. Just something to keep in mind. Where, you know, where are your bites coming? Are they coming, say, out on the lip, or are they coming, you know, up on the bank where you would think the fish are? But in reality, they're sitting out right now because that's where the bait is. The bait are out in this deeper water, right on that lip. And when you find them, you can catch a bunch of them. And that's our 4th bass. 4 for 4 on hookups, which is excellent. We missed that one, but he never even hit the bait. He came after it after I picked it up out of the water. That's a little better. Boy, they're eating this thing. Not much, but another chunk. Another just a chunky old bass. They're definitely sitting off, and that's just such a common thing for this time of year, but also because we don't really have much current. Like, there's very, very little current right now. We haven't had much rain now probably for a couple of weeks. After having a super wet first half of the summer, we are pretty dry. And that's when you don't have current, the fish will pull off the cover. They're not going to be sitting tight to it. Oh God, that was awesome. Oh, I hope I got that on video. I popped that thing up. I just saw this big old mouth come up and get it. That was awesome. That's another nice one. He's not nearly as fat. He hasn't started feeding up. Got him pinned perfectly. Right in the head. So I don't know how many I've caught now. I know I've been out for about 35 minutes. There's a red-eye shad hanging in this tree right here. Pays to be tall. That's a 2-tapper, brand new. Nice. Score. So one thing I want to point out that I really like about using with a spinnerbait with a free swinging head. So I'm fishing, there's a laydown up there. When I hit that laydown, the bait makes a much larger erratic change of direction. Meaning the blade will be going, and one of two things happens when you hit the stump. Either the head hits first. If the head part hits first, the head will then roll the bait and move over. And what's happening a lot of times is when it rolls over, it rolls the blades into the log. The blade hits the log, and then the bait will shoot in either direction. It's a much different look than a standard spinnerbait, which is all connected, and therefore the bait rolls one direction to come up over the log. In this case, you're actually hitting it, and it's almost like the bait is jumping from side to side, to the point where if you're watching your bait, it almost looks like you got a strike on a lot of them because it moves that fast and that erratically. But it's just a feature of having that free swinging head, which is one of the coolest things about it. You really get much better motion. Every time I go and I like throb the bait, you can see me pulsating the rod tip, or sometimes I'll throw in a hard crank like that, and it just allows the bait to to contract on itself, to open up. It just gives the bait a much better natural lifelike motion that generates, in my opinion, a lot of additional strikes. Like, I expect spinnerbaits in the future really to move to this design. A lot of really good benefits about it. That's a good one. Biggest so far today. That's a close to a 3-pounder. Beautiful fish. So let's talk a little bit about this spinnerbait and some of the features about it that are so nice. So obviously we've seen the free swinging head here. You guys have probably noticed that. An amazing feature to this bait, it allows the bait to have a much more natural presentation. So when it's coming through the water, if it deflects off an object, you get the movement. Every time I pulsate the rod or change reel speed, the bait just moves and it has a free swinging movement to it. The other thing that I really like about that is I tend to think you get better hookups. Now, I haven't missed a fish yet today, so the hookup percentage has been great. But I actually feel like a lot of times with a standard spinnerbait, when it looks like this, if the fish hits it, the whole bait moves. In this case, the fish can come up and suck this in and the hook will actually pull into their mouth and they don't have to worry about the additional wires here. So that's a great feature. You know, you can change out the head if you really wanted to remove the crimp. So if you want to change the head, you can do it. It comes with a laser sharp hook in here. This is one of Picasso's special skirts in terms of like it has really good movement. That's why I'm not even throwing a trailer, because their skirts, I don't know how they do it, but their skirts just undulate so well in the water. It's got really high quality blades on it. Just a great spinnerbait. You've seen how many fish I've caught so far. I'm throwing it up against rock, banging it off wood. We got some teeth marks in the head, but the bait as a whole is still great. And then of course you got the titanium, so it retains its shape. You catch a pile of fish on these. There's one. Smallmouth. Yeah, that's what we need to tear up a spinnerbait. These things will tear them up. One of the reasons you need a titanium wire spinnerbait. Them and pike and muskies, they'll just blow through those things so fast. Just a little rock pile sitting out here, right where he should be. Gave it the real one nice crank and this little fatty grabbed it. Come here. You don't have to worry about, like when you grab the line with spinnerbaits, normally you worry about bending out the wire. You don't have to worry about it in this case. So I'm not using any crazy tactic, pretty conventional spinnerbait gear. I've got It's 15 pound, 100% Berkeley fluorocarbon. I've got it on a 7.3 medium heavy MHX NMB 874 blank that I build, and then I've just got this. This is a Xenon, Abu Garcia Xenon X reel. This is the faster one. This is the 8.3 to 1. Generally, I like faster reels, especially if I'm fishing tighter to cover like this. Just because, you know, a lot of your casts, your strike zone, I know my strike zone is for the most part from the bank, probably halfway to the boat, you know, maybe ooh, that felt like a bite, 2/3 of the way to the boat. So I just feel like I'm more efficient overall with it, and if I have to, I can slow down my reel retrieve. So generally I prefer a faster reel if I can get away with it. Oh, that was cool. Another good one. Skinny one again. Saw him eat it. I mean, that's a long 2 pound, should be 2.5 pounder. He's just super skinny. It's pretty cool the amount of vibration that this thing is putting off. It really is thumping hard. You can see, like, you can't tell probably in here because the water's dark, but the skirt is just going back and forth. The arm on the, I feel like the arm on the spinnerbait is moving more side to side this way because it's not being anchored by the weight itself. It's almost like the arm, you know, the head is running true, but the arm is going like this. It's very unique, and I'm really, really digging this spinnerbait right now. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, this has been a blast. Oh, another chunky one now. That's another nice one. Man, I am very, very impressed. I'm going to end the video on that note. I mean, that's another right around 2.5 pound fish. I'm very, very impressed with this. If you're a spinnerbait fisherman, I give this a big thumbs up. You're going to want to check these out. I'll put the link to Tackle Warehouse so you can check them out yourself. You know, you can pre-order them now. I think they get delivered here pretty soon. They were one of the iCast products. The feedback that I've heard about it has been extremely positive, and my first time using it, guys, I think you can see that it's a fish catcher, man. Not all spinnerbaits are fish catchers, but this thing has blown me away today. You know, they are slightly expensive, but you got to keep in mind that they're titanium. They're titanium, so they're going to last longer. Plus, having the ability to change the head on it, if you happen to dull the head or the hook, you can swap that out, and you still have a good usable spinnerbait, which, you know, it's worth paying the extra money for, because you're going to end up having a bait that lasts so much longer. Really impressed. You know, as somebody who is a die-hard user of those Terminator tungsten titanium spinnerbaits when they came out, I don't know, I'm sure there's somebody else on the market that makes one. I guess I'm just not that familiar with it. So when I got these, I was really excited to try them. This has been the best day of spinnerbait fishing I've had in a long time. I mean, I've been out for about an hour and a half, and I was on the phone for 10 minutes. So, I mean, it's been I feel like I'm getting bit every 5 to 10 casts is what it feels like. It's probably not that, but it's been really good. Largemouth, caught a smallmouth mixed in. No toothy critters, but the bait is still running perfectly true. It's held up great. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. This one gets 2 big thumbs up from me. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate all the viewers that watch on a regular basis. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, how about you subscribe to the channel? That would mean a lot to me. Hit the like button if you enjoyed today's video. Otherwise, stay tuned. We'll have a new video coming out tomorrow.